All right, so here we have our code. Initially, it's just going over, including everything, libraries, sensors, buzzers, everything like that. We get to just the general values used. Over here, the setup, a lot of it is just setting up the time of flight sensor. So no big deal on that. Once we get down to the loop, we define our desired initial speed and we wait for the button press. Over here we have the initial distance. This will move us from the start line of 120 centimeters over to our initial 80, which we want to start looping and dividing from. Right here's that loop that does just that. We take our 40 centimeters, and this -3 is just an experimental factor that can be refined. It was just from initial observations, everything like that. We loop through this 5 times, so it starts off moving that 40 centimeters, which gets us to 80, divides it by 2, moves us another 40, and then 20, 10, 5, so on. So that's that. We have 3 functions: count for distance, drive straight, get median distance. So our count for distance, we used this before just to get encoder counts for a linear distance. Our get median distance is what we take the time of flight sensor data from. So we pull the sensor value right here. We get 10 samples, check if they're valid, which is a 0 or a timeout, and then we retry if that occurred. Once we have all of those, we just do a bubble sort for the median and report that back out. And this actually reports out in millimeters, so we just divide it by 10 up here to get centimeters. And then we have our drive straight, which we used before. Here's our speed correction, which has a error of greater than or equal to 2. It will briefly shut off one of the motors, which will let the slower motor catch up. You'd think that this would cause some jittering, but if you do it continuously, it's pretty smooth. In the report, there was mention of trying to do a feedback loop off of the time of flight sensor data as well. That just added too many constraints to the system and just made it jitter. So yeah, let's go ahead and upload this code right here. This is going down just right there. Should see, yep, there's the lights. So we're already lined up and everything. We have our 120 centimeter black line. That's about as straight as I could get it, going up to that box right there, which is our obstacle. So if we go ahead and press button A, right here, should start moving. Now this moves us up to 80 centimeters. Now we're gonna begin dividing by 2. So that'll be 40 again. Now you also notice that the speed gets a little bit slower too. This was just to make sure our movements were a little bit more precise. And then I think we have one more. Oh, that might be it. Cool, thanks.